This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back. You called us, you beeped us, because you wanted to reach us with another episode of Kim Possible.
Yes.
In our Kim Possible arc, this week Alexis will be telling us a tale of action, adventure, stupidity, perhaps, from some of the characters.
Ass-kicking.
Ass-kicking.
Always.
Good music, good outfits. I don't know what else. Who knows?
Yeah, just all sorts of things. Just fun stuff. Teenage life, you know? When you're a teenage mercenary. The usual
relatable.
Things. Right. We have some stories, that's for sure. But also, sorry, I was giggling when we clapped in because my chair is on its bullshit again, where it just keeps kind of like,
you know what?
Slowly.
Here's the thing.
So I'm just gonna keep like getting lower and lower, and then like having to pause to readjust myself. It was doing fine for a while, and then for some reason today,
my chair does this too sometimes, and I'm like, it is 2025. Alexis is on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast, and we are video chatting right now with cameras and audio, and my chair is syncing. How can we not get this technology?
How? Really, in this year of our Lord 2025, my goodness. Yeah,
this is the stand that I take.
Or the real issue is that we're just not willing to spend like $5,000 on a chair that would.
This is why
create.
This is why capitalism is failing. Correct chairs for the people.
Think of your office chairs, people. Think of
1%.
Think about it.
Yeah.
How has capitalism failed you? By fucking up your office chairs. Yeah.
This can't be good for my lumbar either.
Yeah, the chairs at work are great because get the big bosses paying for them. But us
everyday
working
people
from home, everyday people.
I'm just thinking
who sometimes
constantly
work from home and or record podcasts at home. What are they supposed to do?
Sinking into debt trying to pay for this chair. And sinking in the chair.
Yeah. So so that's our soapbox for the morning. So any other
that's if there's only going to be one.
Oh, yes, there will be many. That's just the first of many for the day. Exactly. Sure. Every time my chair sinks a little bit, it's gonna raise another issue.
Right back onto the soapbox. Yeah. I might get lower, but my soapbox will get higher.
Exactly.
Every time, as it should be.
So, great. All that chair talk to the side. Let's jump into this for now. Exactly. Again, put a pin in it, perhaps. I'm sure we can shoehorn it back in somehow.
I'll put a pin in it for when one of us starts sinking.
Yes. Any second now. I'm like leaning forward because I wonder if it's just me putting too much pressure on the back. I don't know.
That's probably a horrible posture.
Exactly. You're going to notice like different posture for sure. So, yes, today's episode of Kim Possible, though, has nothing, unfortunately, to do with chairs, but perhaps a scientist that could actually invent one to fix our problem here, come to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, because today's episode, it is season 2, episode 5. It's called Car Trouble. There are chairs and cars, or seats and cars, I guess. Exactly.
Okay.
And the episode and the evil plot revolves around the work and knowledge of a Dr. Freeman, a scientist living in Middleton, the same town where Kim and, all them live, where the show takes place. So Dr. Freeman, this guy is basically an expert in the fields of computerized automation, advanced robotics, and artificial intelligence.
This show loves AI.
Loves some AI. Loves to fight it, loves to use it. Kim, as a mercenary, she's got the high-end technology, everything she needs, including AI. And it's obviously a very prescient topic in modern society, as literally everything we do is exactly like driven by AI these days, our economy, all of that. And it's really funny to watch these episodes from like the early 2000s talking about AI before a lot of the terms that we use now were like mainstream or modernized, I guess. So like a lot of the things they say are kind of redundant. Like computerized automation today, I don't think we would call it that. We would just say automation because it's like
Oh
inherently done
yeah.
by computers, But in 2003, they're
It's
like,
just
ooh,
automation.
automation by computers rather than by like
Ooh,
machines. Whoa,
machines. Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
So it's just funny to hear the lingo from back then and be like, oh, this is what they're trying to say. And I get it. It's similar, but also
Right.
redundant in ways because they didn't
And it's
have
just
the words
now
or like
like
the
so part of our vernacular and everyday life that it's just
exactly.
normal.
Exactly. So, anyways, there will be a lot of that during this episode, and
Okay,
you'll see it when
great.
you watch it too. It's kind of funny. So, Dr. Freeman, though, this expert in AI, he has created a number of AI connected, like household items with whom or which he communicates and consults his like scientific theories on a daily basis.
Okay, okay.
So, for
Interesting.
example, his toaster, he can just speak and order it to toast his toast the perfect temperature, to the perfect,
Mm.
toastiness. I guess that
Yes,
sounds
the perfect toast for the
toastiness, if you
toast.
will. He
Also,
toasts it
sorry,
perfectly. Yeah, go ahead.
Disney also just loves AI. I think of Smart House immediately. I'm just like, this is just
Exactly.
animated Smart House.
It's literally that's what this guy's house is. Dr. Freeman is
Yeah.
the creator of the smart house. Like his microwave does the same
Yes.
thing. The
Mm.
radio can play whatever sort of music it wants to play when he just talks to it. And they all have
Yeah.
distinct voices and kind of traits that fit, obviously,
Interesting.
the machine that they are, if you will, very
Uh-huh.
much like Beauty and the Beast as well.
Oh,
All of the,
funny.
although that's not
Yes.
AI, I guess that's like
That's
super AI,
magic.
where it's actual people. Well, it's
That's
magic, but like in the sense
magic,
where like
Alexis.
human computers turning into
No, it's magic.
actual. No,
There's
it's
no
AI.
computers.
AI is magic.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Grace. No. So, anyways, but that is basically what you have going on here, where this guy surrounds himself with all of these different
Okay.
household items that can talk, are robots, AI based. They do what he wants, right?
Hmm.
But this guy, he's a middle-aged black man. He's got short hair and he's got like little gray hairs on the sides. He's not super tall. He's pretty skinny, wears thick rimmed glasses, and of course, he wears a lab coat.
That's how
And
you
his
know.
That's how you know exactly. And his prize invention among all of these different robots and AI machines that he has created is what he calls the systematized automated driving intelligence, aka SADIE.
Okay, great.
And
I was trying to
SADIE,
like put
yes,
together what female
follow
name
it
this
like,
AI was named after because I knew it would
yeah.
be.
And so like Kit basically from oh gosh, from Knight Rider. Yeah, sorry, the car. Anyways, so
Never seen
Sadie
that.
is a
Sorry.
it's old, like
Yeah.
it's one of those shows I would watch. My grandmother was watching, and I'd be like, ooh, wow. Anyways,
Amazing.
so Sadie is a red Jeep with a retractable roof, and she is decked out with, among many other features, ejector seats, a
Okay.
disintegrator array that deploys from the trunk.
Okay. So he's not just toast and toast anymore.
Not entirely. Self-driving systems, a comprehensive GPS, drink holders big enough to hold extra large sodas, and she comes in a variety of colors, including like camouflage, just like throwing that out there in case.
Okay. So the
So,
microwave is just gone out the wind, basically. He
just
says
no,
that was so last
no.
year.
Hey, the microwave is that's his number one confidant, Grace. Okay. When he sits at home thinking through his theories, he's asking the microwave what
Just
he needs
letting
to
him
do next.
know.
Right. And
Lasers.
so, like the microwave, like the toaster, Sadie
Mm.
has been designed with a distinct voice and traits that make her equally useful and fun to be around.
Okay,
So
great.
she is just another one of these cast of characters that Dr. Freeman, our good old AI expert, has created.
Okay.
Now, despite what you may think about his motivation to build such
Yeah, I
robots and
got
items as
questions.
as you're starting to piece together here,
Yeah.
Dr. Freeman actually, by all accounts, he had a great childhood and is actually a fairly well-adjusted and down-to-earth guy. So there's at
Okay.
one point during this episode where he fondly looks back and remembers times with his family growing up, driving around in their old station wagon, going to sock hops and soda parlors, and just
Wishing that there were
honestly
lasers
having a
on the
good
station
time.
wagon.
wishing that there was no one else at the sock hop in the soda parlor in line in front of him, and that it was him and only his family that
One way to
existed on
take
this
care of it.
planet. Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Well adjusted.
So, yes, he is a bit quirky. He is a scientist after all, but he does have a good sense of humor and he's pretty much just like down for general vibes, which like he comes
Okay.
off as, again, like I say, a chill guy, which in hindsight and in this modern era, as we now know, maybe these are not actually desirable traits for someone who creates AI to have, because maybe want that person to like proceed with caution a bit more
Yeah.
and not be just like down for whatever.
Yeah, like be into
But
rules, parameters,
exactly.
ethics.
Yeah. So, anyways, one day while Dr. Freeman is in his smart house,
Uh-huh.
aka Disney can sue Disney for stealing its
Yeah,
own ideas
themselves.
here. We didn't
Yes.
we didn't do that. He's sitting there at his kitchen table theorizing some solutions to a recent microcircuitry and positronic interface issue that he's
Okay.
encountering with some new invention. And he's talking these theories through with his toaster, his blender, his oven,
Very
etc. And once they all come to the conclusion that his basic theoretical framework is sound, he
okay.
decides to celebrate. So he tells the blender to make a banana smoothie and he tells the radio to crank some tunes so that they can start dancing.
Okay.
So, yeah, exactly. So he's cool. He's having a fun time.
Have a
He's
good
in his
time.
own home. He's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, he can do what he
And
wants.
so exactly, and do what he wants, he does, because he gets down and starts shaking his booty. He gets
Okay.
down low. He's got the music pumping, a nice little like poppy disco type of thing.
Okay.
And his microwave starts warming up a nice fresh pita pocket for him. And the party
Great.
can begin, the party of 1 + 8 robots or so.
Some appliances.
Yes, but the food and the fun is very quickly interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Draken and Shigo.
Mm.
Draken, who he kind of seems like he knows Dr. Freeman, like they've either worked together in the past or they've at
Okay.
least crossed paths at some point. He walks towards Dr. Freeman and grabs his arm, just telling him good morning. And this is around when that picture that I
You
shouldn't
said
have
me.
sent
As soon as you said dancing, I was like, for context, everyone,
with
Alexis
who?
just sent me a picture, no context from this episode of
Yeah,
Draken and Freeman dancing, like
doing a
a
nice dip.
tango, yeah, doing a dip or
Yes,
something, and no words around it, just
nothing, just that.
yeah,
And Draken, he had his foot all up in the air, like they looked
yeah.
happy. They
I
looked like
was
they were on
like,
cloud nine.
what could possibly
Yes.
be happening right now? So this is what's happening right now.
This is what's happening. Yes, as
Okay,
soon as Draken walks in, the radio, like I said, Dr. Freeman, he programmed all of these appliances and these like electronics with personalities. And so the radio has jokes
okay,
because as soon as Dr. Freeman or as Dr. Draken grabs Dr. Freeman's arms, it
uh-huh.
turns on a little spicy like salsa number or yeah, perhaps like a little tango or something like
Okay.
that. And Dr. Draken and Freeman just can't help but dance to it. So they
What is
start
their history?
dancing.
I
They're
gotta
partying. I
know.
know. I was like, at no
Freeman's
point
not
do they
freaking
ever
out.
say, no, exactly. He's not
Okay.
freaking out. He's taking it. He's just like, oh, cool. Hey, you're here. He never really acknowledges Dr. Draken's name or Shigo's name, but like he never says like, who are you?
Yeah.
Um, anything like that. He does in a second question them about something. But anyway, so they're dancing, they're
Okay.
partying, and then Draken snaps out of it and says, like, hey, no, I'm not here to dance with you. You're
This
coming
time.
with me. I'm abducting you so that we can dance
Oh.
at my lair.
There's
Not
not enough
here.
room on this kitchen dance floor.
Exactly. Bring your radio with you. He's funny. So now the robots, though, hearing that Dr. Draken is here to kidnap or abduct Dr. Freeman,
Yes.
they're like, oh, wait, this is a threat. So they
Okay.
snap into action and they try to protect their master, their creator,
Uh-huh.
Dr. Freeman. They start throwing like food and toast at Dr. Draken and all sorts
Okay.
of things. And this gives Freeman, too many doctors here, a
So many.
chance to run and hide.
Okay.
And Shigo at this point is just like rolling her eyes, like, good Lord, I'm surrounded by idiots. She just goes up to like the
Always.
circuit board and just like turns it all off, turns
Right,
off
these
all
are
the breakers.
appliances.
Exactly. And then like Draken's like, oh my God, thank you. Like, how did you know to do that?
She was like,
He's
I
like,
know
I'm
how
surrounded by idiots.
electricity works, my dude.
Exactly. So Dr. Freeman, he's like huddled behind a couch or something trying to hide, and he just asks them what they want with him and why they're there. So again, he's not asking who they
Okay.
are. He's just saying like, what do you want? Like, what are you doing here?
Okay.
Which makes me think that they know each other.
Yeah.
And Draken explains that he needs Dr. Freeman's help fixing something. And also at this point, getting his clothes dry cleaned because he has banana smoothie all over him from the blender attacking him.
Uh-huh.
So Draken and Shigo bring Dr. Freeman to Draken's current lair, which
Okay.
is a factory, I guess like a defunct factory that he's taken over and kind of retooled or repurposed for what he calls a grander purpose. He's twisted it so that he
Okay.
can, it used to be a station wagon factory, which evokes memories
Oh,
of
interesting.
Dr. Freeman's childhood.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. But he is now using it to create an army of robots that he aptly
Okay.
calls Destructobots,
All right. He
which
loves a Destructobot. We've seen it
this kid,
already.
he's like a 12-year-old in
Yeah.
40-year-old shoes or something. I don't know.
Yep.
He just can't put his childhood behind him. And
Can't
yes, this guy
stop.
loves creating some robots. And so he shows these Destructobots to Dr. Freeman, and they're massive. They're huge. He's come a long way since his BB
Okay.
era. Well, the original BBs. The new BBs that
Yes.
I covered in my last episode, I think are still better and sleeker looking than this, which is funny
Yeah.
because now we're in season 2 and that was season 1. So in
He
a way,
learned
he's
from his
backstepping.
mistakes from
Exactly.
making them like too sleek and they had too much autonomy. He's changed.
Exactly. Too sleek and sexy. Now he's like, nope, we'll just make them bulky and have massive guns coming out of
Yeah, we'll
every
make them
like
scary looking.
arm. Exactly. And they do because, like I said, they're massive. They look very dangerous. They look clunky, but in the sense that, like, they have all these weapons protruding out of them
Yeah,
and, like,
like
these sharp
strong,
claw
clunky,
built in
not
hands.
uncomfortable,
Exactly.
clunky. Yeah.
Exactly. And they do look like if, they are something that's programmed well, they look like something that actually could destroy shit. Like they look like they
Okay.
could be functionally dangerous robots.
Okay.
So,
All right. So some
but
killing
let's
machines.
exactly. But
Okay.
again, we emphasize the if well
If
programmed of it all,
yes, yes. And
knowing
now we
again
see why
from recent
somebody
episodes
has been got brought here. Because yeah,
abducted.
yes, Draken was like, I tried the programming last time and they turned against me.
Yes, they turned against me. And
He's
not only
like,
did I try it last time and they turned against me, let me show you, aka she goes like, here, let me show you
oh
how these
no.
ones here are programmed and
Oh
why we need
no.
your services today, Dr. Freeman. Because she immediately just yells out, Destructobots attack.
Okay.
They're vocal, they can just listen to your voice and then react. But when they hear the word attack, they just immediately start attacking and destroying each other. Like they are running into walls, they're shooting each
Oh
other, they're
no.
hitting each other.
Self-destructo bots.
Exactly. So it makes me wonder, like, well, what if you're just more specific, Shigo? Maybe you should say Destructobots attack, that
That
car or
guy.
something, or attack
Yeah.
that person, and then like try that
Yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume that they've tried that and it didn't work, but
But did
I
they
don't
try it?
know. But did they? I don't know,
Did
Shigo.
they?
I don't know. I
Or
don't
maybe
know.
she goes just like knows that just saying attack will make them attack each other, and she's just like, God, everyone's an idiot. I might as well have some fun.
Honestly, she's like, I don't really care if these robots work or not. Like,
Yeah.
Shigo,
I'm just
I guess
bored.
Shigo is evil, but exactly. Like, I don't think that she really wants world domination.
Yeah.
Maybe again, we're kind of new, mostly new to this show. Like, we don't know all of the full motivations, but
Yeah.
she doesn't give me like the world domination vibes like
Yeah.
Draken does. So I think she is just bored and likes
I think
knowing that she's doing something bad, but not like,
she's like, yeah, I love evil, so that's why I'm getting hired as a mercenary for the evil person, but I'm just
yeah,
here for a paycheck.
yeah,
I just work
exactly.
here.
Like, I
Okay.
need money. Yeah.
You want to talk to the manager? He's over there getting
He's over
attacked by his
there,
own robot.
not knowing exactly, not knowing how to program the robots that he's trying to use to
Yeah.
take over the world. So, yeah, so I don't think she really cares either way if this robot thing works out. She's just like,
Yeah.
I just need a paycheck. So, like, yeah, attack, kill each other,
Yeah.
whatever,
Have
stupid
at
robots,
it.
like, just Yeah. So, yes, Draken sees that, or sorry, Dr. Freeman sees that obviously these robots are not properly programmed. And Draken's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I know. That's why I need you here. You're really good at making your robots smart. And I need my stupid Destructobots to be smart like your toaster, for
Yeah.
example. So, of course, at first, like I know I've kind of painted him in a neutral way, like you don't really know Dr. Freeman's motivations, but I
Yeah.
actually will say he's a good guy because he here resists. He does not want to
Okay.
help Dr. Draken carry out these evil plans. He's like, no, like that's not what I do this sort of work for.
Okay.
And this does at first kind of come, or no, sorry, it does not come as a surprise to Draken, actually. So I guess
Okay.
again, he does know Dr. Freeman, he's familiar with him, and he knew that he would have to kind of like push a
Force
little
it.
harder than just
Okay.
being like, hey, please, would you help me, please?
Please.
So he now says that that's okay. I have a few torture programs that I can put you through real quick to try
Programs,
get you to
not
change your
just
mind,
a little
if
torture. It's a
you
whole
will.
program.
Exactly. And I say program because he has like three separate like brain crushing machines that he as he describes them that he is like, all
Okay.
right, I'll put you through this one, like the brain crusher, the brain drainer, the mind, some the I don't know.
Okay.
But Dr. Freeman, he's a mentally tough guy. Those household appliances constantly are ragging on him. He's got thick skin. He's resilient
Yep.
because this series of torture attempts all fail, leaving
Okay.
Draken and Shigo with only one option to trick Dr. Freeman into helping fix these Destructobots.
Interesting.
The easiest way to trick, in my opinion, a narcissistic, intelligent person through reverse psychology,
Oh no.
basically. They tell Dr. Freeman that, you know what, you probably can't even fix these
No.
robots. You're not even smart enough to fix these. You know what? I'm actually going to get someone from Lowerton Community College to come here and fix these robots. I think that they'll be able to help me. So, you know what,
Yeah,
Dr.
this was
Freeman,
such a waste of
you can actually
time.
just leave. You can go.
Yeah, you won't. I bet you won't. Fix
I bet
it?
you
Yeah,
can't. It's not
you
even won't.
couldn't.
You can't. You won't because you can't. So I get it. We'll find someone who can. And
Definitely not
yes,
you.
this works so perfectly. Dr. Freeman,
Men are so
he
weak.
scoffs. They are, they are. They're so emotional. Am I right? So he scoffs, he rolls up his sleeves and he says, are you kidding me? Those hacks at the community college can't even program a VCR.
Oh
Move out of
my
my way. And
God.
he takes one of those robot heads, lays it down on a lab table, gets a screwdriver out and gets to work.
Mm,
So at this point, Draken, he just smiles at Shigo, like, good job, because
you
obviously it was
nailed it.
Shigo's idea to use reverse
Of
psychology.
course.
Yeah. And he now realizes that his plan for world domination is back on track.
Great.
So, how does our hero, our mercenary, Kim Possible, get the call from help that call for help then? And
Yeah.
how the hell does she stop this? How does she get involved? Well, one evening, her and her bestie, Ron, stoppable, as we
Uh-huh.
know, they're walking home from eating some late night tacos and burritos, and the two of them are exchanging anxieties over honestly, like the most anxiety inducing things teenagers endure, driver's tests, getting their
Oh
driver's
no, that's right, because
license.
they can't drive.
They can't drive,
So they have
at
to get
least for
rides
now.
everywhere.
Exactly. Kim and Ron, they've been taking driver's ed courses. Interestingly, at their school is
Oh.
offering it, and there's the recurring substitute teacher, Mr. Barkin, is the
Uh-huh.
one leading these classes. And I don't know if Mr. Barkin has been in any of your episodes yet. I don't think he
Uh-uh.
has, or if so. Well, then let me describe him
Yeah,
because he
tell
is
me who
voiced by
this is.
a goat of the voice acting world.
Oh,
Yes. And you'll know it as soon as I didn't even have to look it up to know who was voicing him because it's one
okay.
of those where when you hear the voice, you
You
automatically
know.
know it. Mr. Barkin, he is a middle-aged white man. He's just wearing a brown suit and like a brown tie and a kind of tight or a lighter colored shirt, whatever. He's got a clean, high cut, tight buzz cut, brown hair, a burlier build, like very thick on top with kind of
Uh-huh.
regular legs. And he acts and appears as if he had a previous career in the military. So he's very
Okay.
like
Like
strict
barking
and a
orders,
firm,
perhaps.
exactly, barking
Okay.
orders. And I say that that is pretty typical for the voice actor who voices him because it is
Okay.
Patrick Warburton, aka
Uh,
Kronk from The Emperor's New
oh,
Groove.
oh my God.
Jeff Swanson from Family Guy. I mean, like literally
Yes.
5 million billion other things. Like one of those guys
Yes.
where literally when you hear his voice, you're like,
Yes.
oh,
He was
that's
in
I know
Seinfeld,
exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's the
a
guy I'm
live
thinking
action
of.
actor and a
Yeah,
voice actor.
with a
Yes.
perfect voice.
Perfect voice, exactly. And it's
Never
been the
needs to
same
change
for
it.
like 30
Yeah,
years too,
exactly.
which I'm like,
No
huh, good
changes.
for you. Yes. So at first, anyways, so that's Mr. Barkin, who he is apparently in this show a lot too.
Oh, cool.
He is just like the stereotypical like substitute teacher who like any class, he just like shows up. It'll be like science one day,
Yeah,
English
he's
the
here.
next, and he's just military orders, sort of like very
Got
strict
it.
dude, tough on the
Wow, I'm
students.
so excited.
Yes. So at first, anyways, they're talking about this road test or the driving test. The thought of it didn't scare Kim at all. And she was super chill about taking it. She felt like it
Hmm.
wasn't a big deal. She is, after all, a teenage mercenary who constantly thwarts the evil plans of global terrorists, after all.
Uh-huh.
So a driving test seems like the least of her daily worries. But Ron, from the jump, has been stressing the fuck out about this test.
Oh.
And he warned Kim that if they don't pass the driver's test, they're going to end up like the fabled Russell Needlemeyer. And according to Ron, Russell
Sorry, we're
is a
laughing
record.
because Alexis has had to redo this paragraph like 3 times because my internet kept going out. And so I know the first 4 lines of the story about Russ Needlemeyer, and that's it.
And I keep saying it, like waiting for her to laugh at the last line, but she never does because it always freezes. And I'm like, damn it, it's funny.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Russ
I
Needlemeyer.
have to go back.
He's
So, but
cursed us.
you've heard most of it at this point. So, yes, he is, according to Ron, a recluse townie who failed his driver's ed test many years ago and now lives in his parents' basement. And he must ride the bus to work every day to his job as a taxidermist.
Oh my.
So, that's, I've been
So
waiting for
this
that reaction for like 10
this
minutes now.
this
That
is
was
why
exactly,
Ron thinks he's a taxidermist because he failed his driver's test. Because that's why
exactly.
he lives in his parents' house because he failed his driver's test. Everything
Exactly.
that's gone
And
wrong.
shaming public transit as well. That's a
Yeah, damn,
no-no, Ron.
Ron.
Come on. Yeah. Like,
We love
yes.
public
And it's
transit.
all because he failed his driver's ed test, has nothing else to do with this guy's
Mm,
personality, which
no, of
like
course
it
not.
shows him kind of in like a cut clip. And I mean, he looks
This
like a
man's a
pretty dark and
taxidermist.
gloomy person. Yeah. Like, I'm sure there were other things besides the driver's ed test failing, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so basically, when the time came to take the actual driver's test, the in-car test,
Mhm.
Kim let Ron's anxieties get into her head, and she ends up absolutely
Oh.
choking and botch the whole thing. I
Oh
think she gets like
no.
an F minus or something like that. Yeah. But also, to be fair, this test is absolutely ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And again, it is Patrick Warburton voicing a character, so you know that it's like an unreasonably like militant character.
Yes.
And Mr. Barkin indeed has them doing like ridiculous turns. He's got them doing like U turns, K turns, WXYZ turns,
He
you
was
name it,
making
just
shit up.
everything, making shit up. Yeah. And to be even fairer to Kim, the only student who actually does pass the test is unfortunately Bonnie,
Oh
which
no, this
exactly
bitch.
her rival, also on the cheer squad. For
Hmm.
those who aren't familiar with the show, she's like the it girl in Kim's grade,
Hmm.
I think. And obviously, Bonnie rubs this in Kim's face. So, other than her, though, everyone failed. So, Kim is in
Oh.
otherwise good company. And Mr. Barkin should probably absolutely reevaluate his
Yeah, if
teaching
everyone's failing.
priorities and methods here. Exactly. You have
Yeah.
one out of like 50 students passing
Yeah.
this thing. Come on.
That's on you.
Exactly. So, as Ron and Kim were walking home that night from getting tacos and whatnot in the
Mhm.
dark under the Middleton streetlights, Kim tells Ron that she's over talking about cars. She doesn't want to talk about driver's ed anymore. And
Okay.
she's totally fine and happy with walking from A to B now. She's like, you know what? What's wrong with walking after all? We can
Okay.
we can use our legs. She's absolutely in her acceptance stage at this point. Like,
She's like overly enthusiastic about it.
exactly, about walking, yes. And Ron agrees and says that driving is overrated. And then he starts ranting about the number of famous and influential people in American history who, like them, did not drive. For
Okay.
example, Thomas Jefferson,
All right,
he
I was
didn't
gonna say, were
drive.
cars around when these people were
George Washington did not drive, to my recollection. And
alive?
the Wright brothers also maybe didn't drive. Not sure. They flew planes, but jury's out on whether or not they drove. I need to look at the timeline on that. But
Yeah, I don't
anyways,
know.
so they're in even better company now, is what Ron is trying to get
Yes.
to. But during this ranting, while Ron is going on and on about people who did not have access to cars, not being able to
Yeah.
drive, Kim notices that another car seems to actually be following them down the street.
Okay.
She sees headlights turn on as they pass it, and it pulls out of a parking spot and starts slowly creeping down the street
Hate that.
alongside them. Do not love it
Hate
at
that.
all. At night in the dark, only street lights guiding you home,
Yes. Just
basically.
you and a friend as teenagers, all bad.
Exactly. A scrawny friend, no less. Like, great.
Yeah.
Great. So she stops Ron from his ranting and tells him that they're being followed. And they both book it out of there. Well, Ron's like, "Are we for real being followed?" And she's like, "Well, there's only one way to find out." So then they just take off and like start
Yeah.
running. Like you
Smart.
said, smart. The car stays on their tail though, and it seems to
Okay.
keep up with them pretty well, even as they're like jumping over fences and yards and starting to
Yeah.
run through the woods to just get away from the main streets. And right when Ron and Kim think they finally lost the car, they're like in a clearing in the woods. The car fucking bursts through some trees and into this clearing where they're standing.
Now I feel I've never seen Knight Rider, but I feel like that's right, Knight Rider shit, right?
That's kid.
Like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
sentient
that's the
car.
hero. Exactly. Like having a mind of its own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in the middle of the woods? How are you dodging these trees?
Yeah.
And yes, I'm glad you said that. A sentient car, because the driver's side door swings open after the car like plows right in front of them
Uh-huh.
and no one's inside. And all we hear is a robotic female voice saying, "Kim
Oh,
Possible, I've come for you." Which in their shoes would be as
bad.
scary, I would think, as like a large man with a gun, running
Yeah.
out of the car. It'd be like, "Who the fuck are you? Why are you chasing us through the woods?" In our
Yeah.
shoes, we know this is Sadie
Sadie.
because we get a good look
Okay.
at the car now. Yes. And we see that it's the red Jeep and that
Mm.
same robotic voice that I kind of described earlier. Anyways, so Ron begins to absolutely freak out because, again, they don't know about Sadie yet. And they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. He thinks it's some sort of like ghost car that's haunting them and chasing them down. So he's
Uh-huh.
screaming, shouting for help, freaking out. And Kim and Rufus are just calmly looking at the car, looking at Ron, shaking their head, like, "Don't worry, he does this all the time."
Yes,
And they
normal.
calm him down. Yes. So eventually, like I said, they calm him down. And the car is able to get a word in edgewise and introduces herself as Sadie, the systemized automated driving, what did I say, interface or whatever, something like
Yeah.
that. And she tells Kim and Ron that some freak snatched her inventor, Dr. Freeman,
Some
and she
freak. That's
found
funny.
Kim's website. She found Kim's website online.
Mm.
And Kim's like, I've never had a car put out a hit for me before.
A
That's
hit.
interesting." I think she does call it that too.
I
I'm like,
mean, it's
"Oh,
not
Kim,
wrong.
not even hiding it." Yep.
Yeah.
But Sadie is like, "Well, unfortunately, I don't know much about who kidnapped Dr. Freeman because she's a car, so she was in the driveway or like the garage,
Right.
presumably, when it happened." But she says that she can take them
But
back to
I
Dr.
know he
Freeman's
was a
house.
freak.
I know he was a freak. It's actually very funny how the appliances describe them. I'll say in a
Okay.
second. But
Great.
she's like, "I'll take you back to Dr. Freeman's house where the other robots can hopefully give you guys some more clues because they were
Mm.
actually in the house." And so they get back to the house and they start talking with the appliances. And at this point, I'm like, wait, who plugged them back in? Or who turned the like breaker back on? I wonder. Or maybe Dr. Freeman's smart. He probably has it on an automatic thing where it like,
Yes.
I don't know, comes back
Resets.
on its own. Yeah. But at
He's
this point,
got
I was like,
like
oh, did somebody turn it back on? I don't know.
again, from the Jetsons robot maid who turned it on for
She was
him.
there. Yeah. She came
Yep.
up from the basement like, "Oh, where'd he go? It's so silly. He
Why did you
forgot to
turn all
turn off
this
his,
off?
what's he doing?"
Try to turn it
Yeah.
back on before he stepped out.
So they start talking with all these items like the blender and everything.
Hmm.
But They don't have much. They don't give much more because again, they're appliances. Like they don't have eyes. They
Yeah.
can't describe physically what they look like. So all that they say is like one of them was roguish and the other one was petulant or something. So roguish and petulant. To which I was like, okay, Shigo and Draken in
And
that order, probably.
amazing.
Yes. And then the microwave's like, well, I think that their body temperature was about 98.6 degrees. And
Great.
Ron is like, great. So any of the 7 billion people living on this planet,
Great. So they didn't have a
basically,
fever.
wonderful. Yes. And they're starting to get a little testy, Ron and Kim. And the appliances are like, well, what do you want us to do? Like, we don't have eyes. And Ron says, well, we usually have a little bit more to go off of, like other
Yeah.
than body temperature and roguish and
Yeah.
petulant. Like that's literally
Could
everyone
be
that we fought off.
anyone.
Exactly. And they're like, we usually have like a picture or fingerprints or like video evidence or a voice or something like that to go
Uh-huh.
with. And at this point, the radio is like, oh, did you say a voice? I recorded
Oh.
the entire thing. And so,
Wow. Just like our actual
yeah,
radios.
yes, I was like, oh God, I don't love
Careful.
it, but
This is
okay.
way
We're
too close
gonna
to
assume that,
home.
yeah, we're just
He
gonna say
purposely
Dr.
programmed
Freeman
this.
exactly, specially programmed this specific
Yes.
radio to do this so that if these things tended
Let's
to
go with that.
happen, exactly, our radios and devices are not recording us on a daily basis ever at
No.
all.
No.
So, yes, they listen to this recording. It plays back, the radio plays back the tape for them. And it takes literally a millisecond for Kim and Ron to
Be
recognize
like,
Dr. Draken's voice and be like, okay, it was Draken and Shigo.
yeah.
So the next morning, Kim from her home, she's getting ready to go to school, but she gives a quick call to Wade, her tech guy, to
Hmm.
try and figure out where Draken may have taken Dr. Freeman. And they start putting together the equation. They're like, okay, well, what would he want with him in the first place? You have Draken, an evil genius who's constantly trying to create robots.
Hmm.
And you have who Sadie described Dr. Freeman as an AI expert.
Yep.
Obviously, they're trying to create some sort of evil robot army,
Hmm.
which, as we know, is spot on. So they like
Yeah, it's
literally
correct.
they read the fuck out of Draken like in a
So
millisecond.
easy.
Like, yeah, you're getting way too predictable, buddy.
Yeah, truly.
So Wade tells Kim that he'll start cross-referencing abandoned factories in the area with shipments of robotic parts and microprocessor orders.
Wade,
Gotta fucking love this kid.
Wade is like, actually, I've already found it. I'm just telling you how I found it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna find it. I'll give you a call in like 30 minutes to make it look like I had to work, but like,
But I
no.
really just went and got
So,
some food.
yes,
Got a
but
snack.
no. So Kim is very impressed with this. She's like, dude, you fucking rock, Wade. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And Wade's just like, yeah, I do my best. I try. But he does actually
Yeah.
caution her, like, this is a needle haystack type of situation. So it's not going to be easy finding these results. Give me some time and I'll get back to
Okay.
you. And Kim's like, don't worry, I'll check in with you again after school. And luckily for Kim today, speaking of going to school, she has a special ride to school today. Again, she still can't drive. She failed that
Okay.
driver's ed test pretty fucking fierce the other day. So her ride is a self-driving computerized SUV. Again, Sadie.
Okay.
And she gets to show off in style riding this thing to school because they've got the top down. They obviously pick up Ron. He's
Hell
got his
yeah.
extra large drink that he's ready to put in that
Oh,
extra large
loves.
beverage holder.
Uh-huh.
But realizing that they're not the ones actually driving the car reminds them again of
They
the
can't drive.
stress that they've got to go. Yeah, they can't
Yep.
drive and they again have to go to driver's ed class today.
Hmm.
So Sadie, she's listening to them, and this is the first that she's hearing them stress out about their driver's ed test. And she's like, hello, literally, yo, I can help you with that. I am literally a
Okay.
self-driving car. Ron thinks this is a genius idea. He's like, dude, absolutely, Kim, we can just use Sadie to drive in the test, and then we'll easily pass.
And then they'll get a license and be allowed on the road without ever having actually passed the test. Is that what he's saying? He's not going to learn from the car. He's going to have the
That's
car
what
take the
he's
test.
saying.
Okay.
And Kim is on our side. She's Miss
Okay,
Goody
good.
Two Shoes over here, like Grace.
Me not wanting
She's
to die
like,
from other drivers.
yeah, behind like a 2-ton freaking metal machine,
Um,
driving machine going. 180 miles per hour. Yeah.
Just as a quick side note, I never
Yeah.
fact checked this, but someone I know who's from here in Oregon was like, "Oh yeah, in Oregon we don't have to take like the in classroom driver's ed. Like they can just
Mm.
go take a test." And I think
Oh
they have to get like
God.
a certain number of practice hours in, but like
Yeah.
in Ohio, we had to go sit in a classroom and take like a certain number of hours, plus get
Yeah.
like the shadowing or like practice hours in. Anyways, it makes me so
The
scared to drive here because I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
none of
in
y'all
Ohio
learned any
too,
of
I
this.
don't think you don't have to take it if you wait until you're 18. I think that's in Ohio and maybe a lot of other states. I think maybe here in Maryland too or something. It's like if you
Oh,
are trying to get your license when you're 16 or whatever, you have to
you have to
take the
do all
full
that.
class, have all the
Yeah.
hours and everything. But if you wait until you're 18 or older, and that might be different, it might be like 21 some states, I don't know. But if
Yeah.
you wait till a certain age, you can just walk in and like take the test. I think you have to have those
Oh
hours
no.
logged too, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Man.
Well, and then and I guess we can have this rant now. Let me remember where I am
The
in my script because I
soapbox.
was like this has to come up at some point. Um it's so interesting to me that they're taking these classes through their school. And I
Oh yeah.
think so. Driver's ed, it obviously is a state by state regulated thing. That's not like a
Yeah.
federal thing at all. Because some states, like even with us growing up in a tri state area, like we had
Yeah.
friends who lived in Kentucky who had to wait till they were like 16 to get even their learner's
The
permits,
permit.
whereas we
Yeah.
were driving by the time we were 16 because every state is different. And I'm like, are there some states where they actually offer driver's ed in the public school system?
Oh yeah.
Because that would be amazing, but I would absolutely see why that's something that like some states are trying to get rid of because it's like
Yeah.
socializing driver's education or because it's
Yeah.
like no, let capitalism handle driver's
No, not
education. Let
take
private
it.
companies do it. But to me this just seems so interesting that like they're just at school taking driver's ed at school.
Well,
A
I
substitute
wonder.
teacher is leading it. At one point he says like I'm going through state mandated paperwork. So obviously there are guidelines on how he
Yeah.
has to teach this program.
I
I'm like, God, that
wonder
would be so nice because think about like we had to take classes. You have to pay for
right
that stuff.
outside
Like
of your
that's
regular split
exactly. And like we
A
were
and
athletes too. So like we had
yeah.
school, we had rowing, and then we had to like on the weekends do this class that our parents had to
Yeah.
pay for. That's expensive. And that can be such a barrier to driving. That's why
Yeah.
people just wait till they're 18. So yes, this is my soapbox again about privatizing every freaking aspect of our
Well, I
lives.
wonder
Anyways,
if it used to be like that because I feel like when I was a kid, I thought
yeah,
driver's ed was in school because that's how
yeah,
all like TV shows depicted it. Was like this is
exactly.
in your classroom. And
Yeah. So this
maybe it
had
is
to
that way in
exist
some
somewhere.
states or
Yeah, at
that
some
used to be
point.
how it was until they decided to
Yeah.
privatize it.
Yeah,
So,
because I'm sure they didn't just make this up, and all these other shows where we're getting this
right.
notion from
It was in
didn't
like
all just
every
pull this out of the
show.
blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like it can't be that inconvenient to write a separate driver's ed program outside of the main school. Like you could still even
Yeah.
have Mr. Barkin leading, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a side job also. I was working here because I needed more money or whatever."
Yeah.
Like if it has to be that character in the show teaching it, like what I'm getting at is they didn't just make this up for like the ease of writing an episode with this
Into
character
school.
and it and
Right.
the convenience exactly of it taking place at their school. This had to be something that did exist at
Yeah.
some point.
I wonder.
And yet another way that privatization is just taking things away from anyways, which
Just
I
like
mean,
good
hey, maybe
office
they're
chairs. Let me tell you.
right. Maybe there's a case for it, but I guess the only downside I see is that it's not as easy for people to take these classes
Right.
if
It's
like it's not
super
offered right in their
prohibitive.
school. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to pay an extra fee and go outside of a community that's
Expensive.
already established in their school
You
to
have to
go
have a
do
way to
something
even get to
somewhere
these
else.
extra classes that isn't your normal
Hmm.
school bus taking you to school. There's
Exactly.
many barriers that are
Many
created by this
barriers.
one thing.
Exactly. Yes. So, yeah, I needed that to come up at some point because it was just like griping at me as
Okay,
the
good.
nerd that I am and that I also know you are. I was like,
Yes.
why is this not a
What the
thing
fuck is
anymore? I'm
this?
sure there's anyways.
Yeah, I'm sure there is an
So,
answer. So someone let us
yes.
know.
Yeah, out
Is
there.
this how
Yeah,
you
actually
took
that's
your
that's a good
driver's
point.
ed? Was it in your school?
Exactly. Yeah, because I know especially we have some viewers that are older than us too. So like
Yeah.
if
Is that how
back
it
in like the
was?
70s or the 80s when you were taking driver's ed, how was it? Also, I know the ages were different back then
Oh,
too. Like
yeah.
there are all sorts of different things. Things have changed with
Right.
like
And like you
driving
said,
laws
state to
state by state.
state.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us your experience growing up.
Yeah.
So Yeah, anyways, going back to cheating now on driver's tests
Oh
with
yeah, great. Don't do
self-driving
this.
cars. Yes, don't do this. Ron, which actually, okay, another side tangent, sorry, and then I swear, because it's just bringing back memories now
Let's
of me and
hear it.
my brothers taking
Oh
driver's ed
no.
tests. We thought to think that they have a whole self-driving car and to think that there are self-driving cars now, so that's going to
Yes.
change the game with the way people take driver's tests.
Yeah.
We thought it was like all cheating or like we had an advantage in taking tests because our parents had rear cameras or whatever. You remember that? Because like that's when they
Yeah.
were first starting to come out,
Yes.
like backup cameras, and they would
Yeah.
beep when you're about to hit something. It would tell you how exactly to turn,
Yeah,
like
to
the red
turn
lines or
it.
whatever. And so we were like, "Ooh, are we gonna get
Were
in
we
trouble if we use
so
these? Are we
good?
cheating? We're so good." As if the instructor can't literally see it with you.
Yeah, and
But
also you
it's
took
just
them
funny to
in the
compare that to
instructor's
now.
car. You like took
Yeah.
them not
Well,
in your
I
personal
took
car,
mine
didn't
in my
we?
car.
I
Yeah.
don't
I think it
remember, I
depends.
guess.
I think it depends. So I took
Yeah, I don't
my
remember.
driver's portion in my car. The
Oh.
state, I don't know, I think the state was like, we're not paying for that. But I
Yeah,
think it
probably,
really
right?
is,
I
it's
don't
place by
know.
place. So when you take I forget, what do you call it? This I'm talking about for the actual test, but when you do like
Yeah.
when you're working with the instructor to do
Like the class.
what do you go the class and you're
Yeah.
driving, I forget what the in car or whatever, but it's the
Yeah,
instruction,
yeah.
not the actual test. For that we did do the instructor's car, but for the actual
Yeah.
exam I took
You
the
used your
exam
own.
in my own car.
Oh, yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't remember. Probably.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Anyways, so it's just funny to think that back then we were like, ooh, rear cameras, we're
Ooh,
so
we're
cool, special, and
so
now they
ahead of
have
the
whole
times.
ass self-driving
Right.
cars.
And
Yeah.
I'm also like, and this is why people are bad at parallel parking is because no
Literally.
everyone relies on those cameras and can't.
Self-driving stuff, yeah, or
Yeah,
just
exactly.
refuses to learn how to parallel park.
Yes.
Ugh. Don't get me on another soapbox.
Right.
Good Lord.
I'm so
So,
sorry.
okay. So, yes, Ron, he thinks that cheating and using Sadie in their driving test is genius, and he's like trying to convince Kim to let them both do it. But Kim, she's like, absolutely not. I know that I can pass this test on my own. I can do
Mm,
anything. I'm fucking Kim Possible, okay?
impossible.
But that afternoon, things are again not going too well for Mr. Barkin's students or for the school's insurance policy
Right.
for
This is
that
why they
matter.
don't do it in school anymore.
Exactly, to bring
When
it all
it's their own
home
question.
and why they make you use your own car for the test.
Yeah. All right. I get
Because
it now. I get it.
student after student, including Ron, they're just failing their tests and wrecking these test cars. Like we're seeing wheels coming off, we're seeing rims coming off. It's the insurance policy has just gone up.
Through the roof.
So exactly. Sadie, she's parked nearby, I think probably just in the school parking lot, and she can see all this, and she is just utterly embarrassed by all these failures, all these students just fucking up this driving.
Uh-huh.
But she also sees Kim, who's next in line, like visibly less confident and looking panicked, a
Oh.
lot more so than this morning. So she's like, uh-oh, Kim's about to choke
The
again. I
car's
can
about to
see it.
crash.
I
Another one of
can't
my
let Kim crash.
brethren
And
dead
also
at the hand of a high schooler.
that, and also I think she realizes like, oof, if that car crashes, who's gonna save Dr. Freeman?
Yeah, she's like,
So
I have a stake in this game now.
exactly. And she literally says, like, I cannot just sit idly by and watch this
Oh.
happen. Like yeah, like you said, has a stake. So she swoops in. Mr. Barkin is walking from his office, but he's like busy looking at this state mandated paperwork that he
Okay.
has to go through, so he's not looking up. Sadie swoops in, and at first I'm thinking she's just gonna like park in front of this other car and like, convince Kim to just get in that car instead.
Okay.
No, no, no. She whips out her disintegrating ray and literally disintegrates the test car, just like poof,
No more
gets
tests.
rid of it, and then just no, she just drives up and replaces it.
Oh my
So
God. And he's like, where'd this car go?
nope, he doesn't question it. He's too busy in this paperwork. Listen, it's highly regulated here, Grace. If we're going to allow
It's
schools to offer driver's ed, the state has to have their
gotta
thumb
follow this
on it. They've got to,
paperwork.
exactly.
And
You
he
got to
does.
follow the paperwork.
He's a military
Exactly.
man.
Exactly. He's
Oh
by
my
the book
God.
man. So Kim is like, Sadie, what are you doing? And Sadie's like, just get in. Like, don't worry. I'll get you that A. Like, we're going to get you your
Kim's
license. And
like,
Kim's like, no, I
this is what I
can't.
wanted.
Exactly. But it's too late because Mr. Barkin, he hops right on into Sadie and Kim's like, shit. Like she can't explain to him that this is actually an AI car.
Hey,
Hi, by the way.
no.
So this car is actually being used in my current mercenary hit job
Yeah.
that I'm working
And actually,
on.
none of us have control of this car, and it actually disintegrated your
Yeah, it
car.
disintegrated your car. There's a lot to explain here. So she realizes, like, fuck,
I just
I
gotta do
can't tell
this.
him that. So she just gets in and is like, fine, we're just gonna do this. And Kim is utterly shocked, though, because Sadie starts just talking to Mr. Barkin
Oh, she didn't
and
explain anything.
she
Okay,
doesn't
great.
even care. And Mr. Barkin is just like, what was that, Kim? And she's like, no, 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 nothing, sweetie. We're just gonna like get started on this. And
Oh
Mr.
no.
Barkin says, listen, you can't sweet talk your way out of this. Get driving, whatever. So behind the driver's seat, she reluctantly begins a test. She obviously feels very, very icky about this idea of cheating. But as one would expect from a self-driving AR, AI embedded car, the car does great. And Kim absolutely aces this test. She
Okay.
gets every turn right. Mr. Barkin is like tearing up at the beauty of the execution that Kim has done here.
Wow.
And he gives her an A plus plus, saying that it's actually, I think, the highest score he's ever given a student. She passes with flying colors.
Uh-oh.
And afterwards, Ron is congratulating Kim, telling her, like, you did such a great job. I can't believe you got the highest grade ever. But then also asking her if she can give him rides to school because he obviously failed again, as we know, partially
Uh-huh.
wrecking one of the cars. Kim, she brushes him off, saying, like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, can we not talk about cars? Because she obviously
Mm,
feels very icky about the whole
icky.
situation.
Yeah.
And Ron's like, well, you're acting kind of weird for someone who just passed their driver's test. And Kim eventually lets it slip that she cheated, but she didn't mean to. She said that
Hmm.
without her consent, Sadie just took over the wheel and she couldn't get her to stop. And she didn't want to cheat and she feels bad about cheating. And Ron stops her, like, you cheated? And he's not so mad that she cheated. He's more
But that he
mad
didn't
that
get to.
he didn't let her cheat or let him cheat too. Exactly.
Where he's like, where's Sadie? I
Exactly.
got some words.
Where, yeah, exactly. Why didn't she come and let me cheat too? So Kim is like, stop, Ron. Like, I didn't mean to cheat though. Like, I didn't want to.
Uh-huh.
And thankfully, their argument is interrupted by Wade calling in to give Kim some updates.
Mm.
He tells them that he has pinpointed Draken's location and he sends them the coordinates. So that's the other thing too. Kim was like, Wade, I'll call you after school and you update me. Wade was
Uh-huh.
like, no, I'll call
I'll,
you before school is
I said,
over.
I'll
He's
be
like,
done before
I beat
then.
you. Exactly.
Please.
He's like, I'll
After
beat you.
school?
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have that long, Kim. Please. You need to get your more pep in your step, please. So, yes, they get the location and they immediately spring into action to save Dr. Freeman. So Sadie, she drives them to this factory, and when they get there, they literally burst right through the wall of the factory, like
Oh,
drive right through it. You're like,
it's
no
abandoned.
nonsense.
It's old brick.
Yeah,
It's
it's
already
fine.
falling
Yeah.
apart.
And when they get there, they're pretty shocked and surprised. Like they're ready to kick ass and spring into action, but they're surprised to see Dr. Draken and Dr. Freeman again just dancing and partying in this factory. As
Dancing
again, just as they celebrate Dr. Freeman completing these upgrades on Draken's
again. We
destructive
were
bots.
shipping
Like
the
again,
wrong
all
people this
vibes
whole time.
the whole time. And she goes just
We
again
didn't
standing
know.
off, like arms crossed, rolling
Like
her
these
eyes.
idiots.
And I think Kim is talking to her, like, are they dancing? And she goes just like, yeah, whatever. Like
Yeah, they won't stop.
this episode's just all vibes. It's just all vibes. There's no urgency. Like
No, not, I was actually thinking of that when you were first talking about when they called Wade or Kim called Wade and she's like, "I'll call you after school." I was like, "There's a man missing."
and how I
I've
so
never heard the
casually
first
said, like,
48.
the next
Like,
morning she calls Wade. Like, yeah, she didn't even do it instantly.
yeah, like yes, you know he's with Draken and Shigo. Like, isn't that more urgent than? you before
Maybe
like
it's also just another like backhanded ass comment
yeah,
to
of like I don't need to worry about them.
Draken. Like they're fine.
He's not
Dr.
gonna get
Freeman's fine.
anything
He's in no
done.
danger.
Yeah. And then she shows up and they're dancing and she's like,
See,
point for Ben.
we could have gotten dinner before this.
Yeah. I could have actually learned how to drive between now and
Yeah.
then, and I didn't.
I
Not
could have
later.
rewatched that driver's ed video 5 times
Yeah.
over. Um, yeah, so they're in there partying, and Dr. Freeman, his dancing is interrupted when he sees Sadie, and he's like, "Sadie, you made it!
Is
Hey,
that what it
girl,
looks
what's
like?
up?" Yeah. Don't worry, I still love you too. Um, but no, he's like excited to see her and welcomes her basically to the party and tells her that they're celebrating, him finishing these upgrades on Draken's robots.
Okay.
And Kim interrupts him like, hi, Kim Possible. Nice to meet you. I was
Your
hired to
car
save
hired
you.
me.
Did you did you just say you helped Draken finish his robots, by the way? And Dr. Freeman at first was like, yeah, they said I couldn't do it, but I showed him. Oops.
This whole
Immediately.
time, Freeman's arc
Yeah.
has been like the arc of the tech bro. They started
Yeah.
out with good intentions. They got corrupted along the way, and only after the
Hmm.
damage is done do the good ones realize they've gone too far.
Exactly. It was only after someone doubted them and said they couldn't do something that they were
Yes.
like, oh, let me show
I'll
you.
prove you wrong, baby.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah, Dr. Freeman finally stops to listen to that sentence that he just said. He like replays it in his mind and he's like, oh, yeah,
Oh
wow, that
no.
probably wasn't the best idea for me to finish his robots, was it?
No.
And at this point, Draken's like, okay, jig is up. Time to like now use these robots. So he
Yeah.
orders the robots to attack them all, but especially Kim Possible first.
Hmm.
And the much smarter now robots begin to attack properly, not each other,
Okay.
but everyone else. And of course, chaos ensues. So Ron and Kim are obviously running around this factory, dodging various laser rays and gunfire and flames. They've got like torches. These robots have torches. They have missile launchers. It's again
Damn.
just like
Okay.
a 12-year-old boy designed a robot and said like,
Most
AI
of Draken's
master, make it do its
inventions.
own thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So while also fighting the robots, though, they're trying to kind of like jump on them and dismantle some of them and like
Okay.
stand in front of other robots so that the robots are still accidentally shooting each other. So like it's
Classic.
working. They're fighting
Yeah.
them off, but there are just so many that it's getting crazy and they are getting cornered.
Okay.
Sadie, though, comes in clutch. Again, she's an AI machine herself, so she has her own
Yes.
mind. She goes out there
And
and she starts
weapons.
helping and weapons, exactly. And she's destroying a lot of these robots on her own with her various tools and weapons. But Shigo picks up on this, that they have this obviously very functional SUV that is
Yeah.
kind of outdoing all these robots. So she grabs this massive ray gun and shoots it at Sadie,
Okay.
temporarily paralyzing the car and frying the automated guidance systems,
Oh, okay.
meaning that Sadie is no longer able to like drive herself really around this factory at all.
Uh-huh.
So Shigo then uses the ray gun to shoot a hole in this massive vat of molten liquefied metal that's in the factory.
Okay.
And this starts destroying everything because I think at this point she realizes how many of the Destructobots have been destroyed in this fight,
Mm,
how much of the factory has kind of been fucked up in this fight because again the robots are just shooting anything everywhere basically, and Kim
yeah.
and Ron are shooting back with stuff. And everything's just starting to collapse and fall apart. So she's like, all right, let's just like cut our losses,
Yeah.
get rid of all the evidence,
Wrap it up.
destroy everything, wrap it up.
Time to
Draken, we're
go.
getting the fuck out of here. Kim,
Yeah.
Ron, and Dr. Freeman can get out if
Good
they
luck.
can. Like, yep, good
Yeah.
luck, deuces. So she and Draken hop in a hovercraft and they get the fuck out of there. And they make sure to shoot at and destroy a few support beams on their way out, obviously, just to like
Good.
help with the demolition and leave Kim, Ron, and Dr. Freeman and Rufus and Sadie to kind of just escape on their own. Yeah, poor
Okay.
Rufus, he's freaking out in there, of course.
Yeah.
And this molten metal is now encroaching. It's getting closer and closer to Ron
Hmm.
and Kim and everyone. And the factory is just more rapidly collapsing around them. And initially, Ron and Kim are like freaking out, feeling like, oh my
Makes
God, we're
sense.
about to die because they think Sadie again has been totally destroyed when she got hit by Shigo.
Right.
But thankfully, Sadie does turn back on. But she says that her automated systems again have been fried. So someone
Okay.
else is going to have to drive her. And they're all
Uh-oh.
relieved. They're all relieved. Ron's
Same.
like, oh, okay, thank God. Dr. Freeman, take the wheel,
Yeah,
man.
an
Get us the
adult. Let's
hell out of
go.
here. Please, finally, a responsible adult can save us. But Dr. Freeman breaks the news. He's like, oh, no, I can't drive.
Why do you think I made this AI car?
Quote unquote.
If I could drive, I could have just bought a Jeep at
I
the
would have just
store.
bought a Jeep and like use my phone as like a fun thing to talk to. Like, why do I need
Yeah.
a self-driving car? Duh. Like, if I could cook, I wouldn't create an AI
Yes, all
microwave.
of these things. I don't
Duh.
know how to do anything but program. I learned no other
That is
skills at all.
literally, that is my life. So Ron at this point tries to take charge. He hops in the driver's seat,
Oh no. Oh
but
no.
he can't even identify which pedal is the acceleration and which is the brake.
He's a real SpongeBob
So
behind the wheel, it sounds like. That's all I'm thinking of this whole time.
and Mr. Barkin is Mrs. Puff. So so yeah, Sadie and Dr. Freeman shut that shit down real quick. They're like, Ron, get out of there, get out of the driver's seat. Kim, you're driving, you're driving. And Kim's like, no, 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 no. She's like still traumatized from failing the driver's test the
Yeah,
day before. And now that she knows that Sadie helped her cheat earlier that day, she's like, no, 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 I
no
can't. I
confidence.
refuse. I cannot drive. And then Sadie says, Kim, all right, I got to be honest. I didn't actually help you cheat on your exam earlier today. I started to, but when I saw that you were doing just fine, I stayed out of it and I let you just
Placebo.
take the wheel. Exactly. And Kim's like, seriously? And Sadie's like, yep, I knew that you could handle it. You are Kim Possible, basically. So
Wow.
Kim, she gets that confidence boost. She hops into the driver's seat and she steers them out to safety. Of course,
Oh,
as the building is collapsing, though, she gets to
pretty
use
cool.
all of these absolutely insane
Crazy.
turns and
The K
maneuvers that
turn.
Mr. Bart, the K turn is
He
her,
fucking knew
that
he's
she
been in a
uses
war
that
zone.
one. Exactly. And yeah, so it's just hilarious. I was like, okay, fine. Maybe he doesn't need
Was
to change
right.
his teaching
Just in
methodology
case.
after all. Yeah. Any average teenager could find themselves in
You
this
never
situation. Yeah,
know.
never know. And in the end, they are able to escape the collapsing factory just in the nick of time, literally right before the entire building blows up into a
Great.
massive
Oh,
hellscape,
oh,
black clouds and
explodes.
all. Crazy. And with enough extra time to, Sadie gives her a little gift, gives Kim a little gift, like, hey, want to put the cherry on top of this great day? And she allows Kim to launch a missile from Sadie's trunk towards the hovercraft that Shigo and Draken just took
Hey, you know
off
what would
in.
really make this a great afternoon? Want to
They were
murder some
just
people?
hopping off. Yeah, two to be exact,
This is what AI is
using
always
a
thinking.
precise missile guidance system, perhaps. Yeah.
I already have it locked in
Want
on
to give it a
them.
try? Yeah.
Exhibit could never.
And Mad Mike, he wishes this is what
His
inspired him. He's like,
wildest
man, I gotta up
dreams.
my freaking game.
How do I
Yes.
get a military grade missile launch system back here in this trunk?
Yes. So, of course, Sadie, she never misses. So Draken and Shigo soon find themselves careening out of the sky towards the ground in their no
Oh my
longer
God.
hovering hovercraft. And the
Great.
two villains are quickly taken into custody by the police, which I
Oh,
think is maybe a first in our arc. We've never actually seen them like thrown into a paddy wagon, have we?
no, we've
Locked up?
had them say like the next day, like Kim or Ron, be like, good thing they got arrested, or like
Mm.
Draken's in jail, but I don't know if we've ever seen actual cops show up.
Yeah. But in this case, yeah, we see full-on police squad taking them into
Okay.
custody. Yeah, they got the
They
handcuffs
probably
on. They're
weren't
being
called. It's probably because there was a huge factory explosion. We just don't see the fire
exactly
trucks down there. Like
right.
the rest
They're
of
like,
like the area was like something's wrong.
Also makes you wonder where the hovercraft landed when they shot it out of the sky and
Oh
who maybe
yeah.
was injured below and just kind of
Yeah.
unintended
There's a
consequences
lot of
from Ken and
EMTs
Rom.
going. There's a lot of sirens
It's exactly a lot of
happening.
things happening for sure. So, nonetheless, though, in light of all of that carnage everywhere, Kim proudly proclaims this week as a success. She's like, the bad guys get locked up, and I actually aced my driver's test. I got nothing to complain
Damn.
about. Damn, girl. But then Sadie drives back up to Kim and says, well,
I lied.
actually,
I knew it. When you said it originally, I was like, my first thought was, and this is how we know that AI becomes too powerful is when it can lie to us. And then I was like, no, it's a
exactly.
Disney show. Maybe not. I was right.
Nope,
I've
you
seen
were
Smart
right all
House.
along.
I
And
know it's always evil.
this is like two times now where Sadie has just gone rogue, basically, and has, oh God, what do they call it? Is it like shepherding or something? I forget. There's like a specific term that like AI programmers use when they
When it
say
goes
like,
rogue.
yeah, the software like is doing its own thing. Like it's there's like an actual term. I was listening to it in a podcast the other day,
Oh
like, oh my God,
no.
no, this is not good. Anyway,
Oh
so this is like
no.
a real thing, by the way. Like anyways, that
Oh
listen to another
God.
podcast for that. But yeah, Sadie's gone rogue twice now because Kim told her not to let her cheat on the test, and she's like, "No, I'm going in there. I'm cheating. Like I see that you're facing a threat. I need to save you." And now she's like, "Oh, I see that the only way for us to get out of this collapsing factory is again to
Was to
lie, again like
lie.
cheat or whatever, like game the system." Yeah.
Nope. Bad, bad, bad.
So yeah, so yeah, Sadie tells her, like, yeah, I lied about lying. I did help you take the driver's test earlier today, but I knew that we needed to get the fuck out of that factory and you just need a little
You just needed
confidence boost. So,
confidence.
I
It's
had
a
to
low
lie
white
to like save our
lie.
lives. Exactly. But Sadie then promises Kim that it was Kim who actually did just drive them out of the factory a moment ago.
Hmm.
So, seeing this, Kim's like, okay. I'll retake the driver's test. I can do it myself because if nothing else, that just
Okay.
proved that I can fucking drive pretty
Yeah, and
well. I
like
just
good
got
for
us out of a
Kim
collapsing factory.
to be like,
Exactly.
I
And
want to do
yes,
this by
she is
myself.
she is our moral ground in this show.
Hmm.
So the next day at school, she does take the test again, but Mr. Barkin, he's just confused. He's like, why would someone who literally got the highest score I've ever seen want to
Want
retake
to
the
retake
test
it?
just to get a lower score? And Kim is like, don't worry about it, bro. Just let me do my thing. Please just
Yeah.
listen. Let me do it. Your taxes are paying for this anyway, okay?
Yeah,
You just
you
let it
gotta be here either
happen.
way.
Exactly. And she does end up getting a B minus, which is very much to her excitement, but Mr. Barkin's confusion. The
Mm.
end.
Wow. This one was full of lessons. Again, the rise and fall of tech bros,
Hmm.
being honest and not cheating,
Yep. The
AI getting
powers of
too
AI.
powerful and going rogue. This was
Yep.
a packed episode. I'm exhausted.
A lot of ground to
I'm
cover. I
morally
know.
exhausted, mainly.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I side with here. Ron had a
Yeah.
point, If cars are all automated anyways, you might as well just take your driver's test in an automated car. I guess
Yeah.
that argument works better today in the year 2025 than it
Yes,
did
then
in
it does then.
2003.
Although
But yeah.
I was also laughing when you were talking about the Sadie doing the driver's test and getting A plus 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 and like all
Hmm.
like the endless stories about the fact that like driverless cars follow the law too much and that's why they
Yeah,
cause all the accidents because like people
exactly.
don't drive by following the rules
Perfectly.
and so like
Exactly.
yeah, just so many accidents that happen because of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
shouldn't be
You
laughing
see
at, but it's
the
kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. Thankfully, well, I don't know if any of them have been fatal. Although
I
there was
don't
that one
think
in San Francisco. I don't think that one was fatal.
so.
I don't remember. Well, I guess maybe we shouldn't talk about it
I'm
because
not
if it
laughing at those
wasn't,
ones. I'm
yeah,
laughing at the
no,
other ones
exactly. Like the
specifically.
is it Waymo or whatever? The ones like
I
the totally
think
self-driving
so.
cars that
Yeah. That are like
all of the
taxis
alarms
and
were going
stuff.
off in like the parking lot. It's like one of them
Yes.
went off and then they all started
All
going
start going
off and
off.
then like they all just leave and go places at the same time and just like stop and all the
Yes,
traffic gets backed up. up.
Yes,
Oh
because
my
like if there's
God.
any other car like at a stop sign, it won't go because it doesn't like know like
Yeah,
right away. It makes me laugh so
exactly.
much.
It's crazy, which is why
Uh,
you can't beat just a good old regular old fashioned human, you know?
yeah,
That's
let's just get some
always the
better
best.
public transportation in here.
Exactly.
Let's just get
Which
that
in
in
DC, some of the
here.
trains are automatically controlled now too. Like they still
Oh, they are?
have yeah, they still have conductors sitting in them, but like they just basically sit there to make sure things don't go wrong. In some of them, not in all
Oh.
of them. But yeah, so I mean, even to the extent that we get more trains in public transit, even that will be automated. So
Yeah,
it's
truly.
just
But
for
still,
better or
our
worse,
chairs
the
are
world we live
sinking.
in. Yeah, like, please, could you
You
imagine having
can't.
an AI chair? What would that even be? You just say something and it raises or
Zoop,
lowers.
zoop,
Yeah.
zoop, zoop. It would just be
Gosh,
correcting
the
me on
year
my posture the whole
2025.
time,
I know, which
like a
actually I
jerk.
need. Anyways, now that you say
Yeah,
that.
same.
But so as we
Same.
continue this hunt for the perfect office chair, until then, hopefully maybe we'll have updates next week. Maybe not. I don't
We
know. But
won't.
until then, Grace, hey, have more confidence. Be like Kim. You need more confidence.
Oh,
I bet you won't have more updates because you can't find more updates, Grace.
you're right. I can't. You're correct.
You're
I'm not
absolutely
going to be
correct.
goaded like a man would be into this.
Touche. Touche. Anyway, so until then, who should they tell about this show?
I think you should tell a driver's ed teacher, whether
Hmm.
you know one as a friend, whether, you have a kid and they're taking driver's ed, whether, I don't know, you're taking driver's ed right now.
Yeah.
Tell someone who teaches driver's ed class, about this
Hmm.
show. I'm sure they'll get a kick out of this episode. And who else should they tell?
After that, you should tell someone at the BMV or DMV. I don't think we've done that. I hope we
I don't
haven't
think so
done that.
either.
Yeah. So yeah, tell them like next time you go, if you do already have your driver's license,
Yep.
next time you go to get it
Get that
renewed,
real
or if you,
ID.
yeah, exactly. Oh God. Or if you're like a normal, totally reasonable person who just likes to stop into the DMV for whatever reason, just hop in and say hi.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll love you there.
Maybe go see a
Yeah, and tell them to listen to
psychiatrist
this
after that.
podcast. Truly, it's like self-torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but until then,
All right.
see you
Well,
next week.
bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.